Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing The Wager, A Tale of Shipwreck, Mutiny, and Murder by David Grann. I've read a couple of books by David Grann before in the past, loved both of them. He's probably best known for the book The Killers of the Flower Moon, which was made into a very acclaimed movie by Martin Scorsese, and also starring Leonardo DiCaprio and an amazing cast. Really cool movie. Really enjoyed that book a lot, but my actually favorite book by David Grann was The Lost City of Sea, which was also made into a movie, not quite as successful, but an amazing book. So I've really enjoyed his work as a nonfiction author. Saw this book at a local bookstore in kind of the recommended section. It's like, oh, I've enjoyed that author in the past, picked it up, back cover, something interesting, decided to check out, and I really enjoyed it a lot. It was a really fun read, a quick read for a nonfiction book. It is an event that I knew a little bit about, but not too much of the specific detail, so I found it very interesting. And I think for most people, this is an event they probably never heard of, or if they've heard of it, just a very small bit. So I think there's a lot of the info in this book that's going to be brand new to most people, which is always the thing with like a lot of nonfiction books, especially if you're kind of focusing on a very well-known event in history. A lot of times if you're a big history nerd, you already kind of know more of the stuff, so it can kind of be a challenge of presenting the info. New info or presenting it in an interesting way or from a different viewpoint. I think this book gets rid of that challenge because it's exploring a very interesting element of history that I think a lot of people are just not really aware of. So I would say first off, if you've enjoyed David Grann in the past, I think you'll really enjoy this book. His writing style is great. There was no part of the book where I was like, I'm not sure why he did that. That chapter seemed a little weird, or how he wrapped up the book in general didn't really fit with the rest of the book. There was nothing like that in it. Like, it was a very strong nonfiction book that I would highly recommend. I would say if you're typically into stories that involve a lot of adventure, maybe if you're into pirate stories or just adventures on the high sea, this book obviously, as the title mentioned, deals with shipwreck and mutiny. So even if maybe you're not typically into nonfiction, there'll be probably some elements of this book that you might enjoy a lot. But the basic event that this covers is the ship The Wager, and its shipwreck and the mutiny and everything that went along with that. Basically, this book is set in the mid-1700s when England and Spain are basically going to war with each other. And the Wager is a part of a British squadron of ships that the British Navy decides to send to the Pacific coast of South America to basically raid some Spanish treasure ships. But during the journey, and this is not really, I'm not really spoiling anything in here because it talks about this in the back cover, the Wager, one of the ships in the squadron, gets separated and is shipwrecked on this very isolated and deserted island. Basically, the crew members believe they have no hope for rescue. It's completely up to them if they're going to survive or not. And that's what this book really focuses on. How the shipwreck happened, what these people did on the island, and all the decisions made, who was right, who was wrong, who made mistakes. And I think one thing this book does an excellent job of, it really kind of illustrates like probably everybody involved in this event all did some things that were bad. They all maybe made some good decisions at some point. There was not one person you're like, oh, this person was completely the good guy. He was in the right the entire time, and this person was clearly the villain, and every decision this person made was, bad and evil and dumb and stuff like that. There's a little bit to both sides. Now, I think the book clearly sides with like, one side might have had a little bit more right on this side, but still, they did some things wrong that really are probably some bad decisions that actually maybe took away from some of the points that they were actually making great. As you can imagine, when a bunch of sailors crash on an island with very little food and very little chance of survival and rescue, quickly dissenting parties came about and gravitated to different leaders who had different strategies or methods on how there could be survived and rescued. And that's what the book really boils down to, is like examining the decisions. Like, was the shipwreck just an accident, or was it somebody's fault? When they get to island, every little decision, like, was this the right decision or not? The ship's captain in this book, Captain Cheap, very much, this is his first big command. He's very proud of becoming a captain, but he's also kind of obsessed with the honor of the position and that everybody should just follow every decision. So it kind of comes wrapped around his ego a little bit, and his desire not to fail on his first mission. And so the other officers and their crew members are just like, they don't care about that. They just want to survive, and all their decisions are more geared like, what's the best course for us to survive, not like fulfilling the orders of the British Navy. The other thing that I really like that the author lays out at the beginning of this book is the events on the island are all based on the diaries and journals that the basically people involved in the shipwreck actually kept while they were there or wrote after they got back. So he completely mixed all the accounts he has used to write this book are all biased. Obviously, everybody that was writing it was biased toward their own way. So he had to kind of examine all these various journals and diaries and kind of come to a conclusion a little bit. But I think that's why he really paints it as like, there was not one person that was completely right and not one person that was completely wrong. There's a little bit of everybody involved in this thing, which is unusual because usually most nonfiction books you do have some sort of unbiased observers that a historian can kind of examine and kind of draw more concrete conclusions. Where this one, we don't really fully know everything that happened on this island. We just kind of know what was told to us by the survivors. It is a harrowing tale or survival. The entire time I was reading this, it completely reminded me so much of the movie Castaway, just thinking like, if I was ever in this situation, I'd be dead in the first week. I would never make it. The fact that the small number of individuals that did survive is absolutely amazing and almost unbelievable. But it really happened as a true historical event. So I would say this is a very interesting character study. It really delves deep into the individuals involved in this and more like what makes an individual and what leads them to make the decisions they do, as much as actually examining the historical event. So I definitely would recommend The Wager by David Grann. I really enjoyed this book a lot and definitely gets my recommendation. In the comment section below, let me know if you've read any David Grann's books, what is your favorite of his? If you like this review, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and happy reading.